Today, my friends, we are going to be breaking down for you Pekka Bobat within this video, and we're going to be breaking down everything that you guys need to know to make this strategy a little bit easier for you guys to use, and we're going to even go over base identification within each of these examples that we have here for you guys. So let's go ahead and kick off this video with this base design right here. So what are the specific things that you are looking for in a particular base? Well, of course, you are looking for the eagle and at least one of the multi-infernos. If they're both on single, then that's a plus for you because that means less splash damage on the base to clear. But another thing is you are looking for wizard towers, and this can be 1, 2, or even 3. Really does depend on the number of free spells you bring, so you want to make sure that you are getting the exact number that you think you're going to need in order to clear through the rest of the base. Just remember that that first wizard tower may need 2 free spells, so it really definitely does depend, especially if you decide on bringing an ice golem, which is another great way for you guys to sort of create some tanking for your bats. So just keep that in mind. But when we're looking at a base like this, we want to look at where the town hall is. Again, the CC is lurable, but don't really worry about that. If you see a lurable CC, then you know what to do. You can easily lure it out by using an archer, goblin, something like that. So there's definitely different ways of luring out the CC, but that's not what we're focusing in on. Focusing in here on the town hall. The main reason is this is going to allow us to create the pathing. So where we would want to attack from is basically going in away from it. So going into that multi-inferno compartment, but also near that eagle. That's the reason why we're entering in there. So what we're going to do in order to enter into that area to get rid of the eagle, inferno, and the 2 wizard towers is in order to sort of create the funnel up here, up around 12 o'clock. So we kind of zoom in here. The big thing I want you guys to kind of realize is that what you're seeing is chainable value. Everything from here all the way down here is chainable. All of that can be chained by one E-drag. Now, of course, our E-drag is not going to go through that whole thing. It's not going to go through this whole thing. But if we place it up around 12, we can still clear one section of the base by just using the E-drag. So that's really, really important, and it gives you guys an opportunity to see something a little bit different in terms of a Pekka Bobat. I usually like to use E-drags instead of a Queen Walk or anything like that, or even a Warden Walk. It's definitely a lot better to use the E-drag in most cases. And you're going to see another example where there were 2 E-drags a little bit later on in this one. But you guys get to get the point on one side of the base, and then on the other side, we're of course using the king. And you could probably use a Pekka depending on the number of Pekkas you're bringing, but other than that, you can really clear a solid area of the base by just having that funnel being created. That's the main point. So base identification really comes down to the funnel as well. Where are you going to start that funnel, and how are you going to get your troops in? That is going to be the most important factor here. Now, as we can see from here, a lot of these bowlers are going to move right onto the outside. However, with these 2 buildings being taken out by the E-drag, that means that the bowlers will start to move in. Now, I will say that bowlers are definitely very hard to funnel into the base. However, if we can take out the first outer layer of the base, then we're going to be able to easily get our bowlers in, and that's really huge. So now I want you guys to really pay attention with the Warden ability. We're protecting everything as we're going through into the eagle, protecting everything from the eagle artillery, and not just that, but also from all the damage that they could possibly take. So now that is basically all of the value that we're getting. We're getting a lot of really good value here, and now we can start our bat wave. Now a bat wave is something very, very simple. All you're doing is dropping your bats on the outside of the base, on the outer end of the base. And what you're going to do is you're going to send your bats in towards an area that will definitely net you a lot of really good value in terms of sending in your bats and sending in the freeze. Sometimes though, you may want to have a tank there. So sometimes a wizard tower may already be tanked for, but usually it's a good opportunity to tank for it by using something else like a ice golem, like I said earlier. And you'll see from here is that when our bat wave is going through, it's easy pathing here. And as the rest of that attack was kind of clearing up that side, we were able to easily get value from using the freeze spells and using the bat spells on that side in order to make sure that we are clearing up the rest of the defenses. And that's really all it is. So this strategy is still very simple. I've made a ton of videos on it, but I still want to make sure that you guys are really getting the idea. Again, every base design is different. This base may have been a little bit more interesting to hit with it, but definitely every base design is different, so it's good to show you guys different base designs within each of these different videos. So let's go ahead and move on into another example using Pekka Bobat. So we are looking at another example. This one, we're looking at this particular base design. Again, we'll see that we've got a lot of wizard towers and a multi-inferno and the eagle on one side of the base. So that does mean that we are kind of looking at this particular area here. So that means that what we want to do is we do want to carve out an area here for our attack, so that way we can send everything into the base and get the value that we want. So we're going to use an E-Drag again, but you'll see that we're also bringing only 3 Pekkas. Really what this means is you are going to be trying to see how much you're going to need in terms of the base. Like here we're bringing an Ice Golem. Great example, we're going to be seeing that down here on top of this wizard tower. But the idea though is you want to try and make sure that you are putting troops that are going to help you get into the base to get that value that you are looking for. Now, this attack won't exactly go to plan. You're going to see a lot of those Pekkas and bowlers kind of splitting off, but that's still fine because most of the time you just want to get as much of the splashdown as possible. So see from here is we are using the E-Drag just to clear a couple of these storages and the mini sort of Tesla farm there that we had. Just 2 Teslas, even though that was it. The big thing here is just making sure that we are able to sort of cut this area off, and we're cutting this off too, which means we want to drop Pekka over here and a Pekka over here in order to sort of continue that funnel. So some of the bowlers will stay on the outside, some will move on to the inside, but the idea is still the same thing. We want to make sure that we're getting everything in, and we're not going to pop the ability so early. And you'll see from here is that even though the wall wrecker is going in a way different area than the Pekkas and bowlers are, which is what the warden is going to follow, that does mean that even though we won't have that wall wrecker, and I know some people may see that, we're still going to get the value because we have Pekkas and bowlers over here and the queen going in here. She's going to take care of the eagle artillery and everything, from there on that side with help from the Pekka. So you can see that what we're trying to get here down is just that entire side, which we are going to successfully do. Now, from here, we go into the bat wave. And again, you'll see is that we're sending in our bats right to this defense and then right into these ones here. We do have an ice golem in particular for this wizard tower right here. So you'll see that as we're going in, we're going to use this ice golem here. And from what you guys can tell is yes, we are tanking for both we're using the free spells on top of the multi-inferno, and then we're also using the ice golem to tank for that wizard tower for the bats, and that is going to be it with this one. Very simple. You guys get the idea of how you guys can use the bats in terms of that bat wave, using the freeze to focus in on the multi-inferno, and then just use the ice golem on top of the wizard tower to make sure that it's targeting that and not the bats. But that gives you guys another really good example of using an ice golem this time. I would definitely recommend it. It's a great way in order to make sure that your bats are getting through a wizard tower without having to use an extra freeze. So now let's go ahead and move on into another example, this time taking a look at 2 E-Drags. So we've got another base design right here, and we got another example here for you guys. And the main thing that I want you guys to really take a look at is, again, you'll see is that where that town hall is placed. So that means that we are going to be entering into this main area. The main reason, we got both multi-inferno towers right there. That's really good value. On top of this, we've got each of the wizard towers in the opposite sides from the core, which means that if we get into the core, we're guaranteed those 2 wizard towers, which also means that we're going to get these three, which then we could either do a bat bomb or bat wave, either going in this way or going in this way. So we can do either or. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to start off with the E-drags, and there's a lot of chain value up on this top area, which is the reason why we're bringing 2 E-drags and less bowlers and Pekkas. So we're using these E-drags to create this side of the funnel. What this means is that we are carving out this area and this area here, guaranteeing our entire attack to move right into the base. That's what we're looking for, and that's all it is. It's the funneling that is going to make this strategy work. So keep this in mind, because there's a lot of different things that you really need to ask yourself. So the biggest thing that I'm trying to say from this entire video is funneling, funneling, funneling. It's extremely good, and it's definitely worth really being able to use and making sure that you are able to get yourself into the base. So you'll see from here is that what these 2 E-drags will do is they're going to chain onto the multi-inferno, and they're almost going to take out both multi-infernos. So you'll see right here is that they are definitely a little bit lower, and without that air sweeper there on the opposite one, he wouldn't be able to he would have been able to get rid of it. So you can see from here is that if I pause it, look at all of this value that the attacker got from the funnel. Everything right here. So that means that what you're looking at here is that the bowlers and the Pekkas will work themselves in without having to worry about the first layer, because that layer has been destroyed, and that means that the bowlers will move right in. So you don't need to worry about the bowlers walking out. Now, of course, there was a lot of chain value there, so that means that is one thing that you should look for in a base. So once we're able to get everything in, we're going to use at least maybe one test bowler just to make sure that everything's going in, and then we just move the rest of our army into the base. And that's all we're just trying to do here. So as everything moves through, we're dealing with another damage CC. We'll take care of the enemy CC. We're still going to pop that ability, and you can see though that with that Warden ability, we protected that wall wrecker from popping in that second layer area, and we made sure that we were popping it right in the core of that base in order to make sure that we can take down both of those wizard towers, like I said earlier on. So now what this gives us is a lot of really good value, gives us access to the eagle, even though it's not really that important now, as we're almost guaranteed it now, so we can just start moving in. So what we're going to be doing is, again, the bat wave. Now, another thing that you could do with your bats, it really does depend on the base, is going to be the bat bomb. That is another possible way for you guys to use your bats. On top of this, you can definitely make sure that you are freezing up the defenses, more specifically the wizard towers and or multi-infernos. In this case, though, it would have been better to freeze up the archer towers, as, again, if they're not being overwhelmed, then it can really cost you the entire attack. So keep that in mind, but still a good example of you guys really seeing this entire attack strategy using 2 E-drags, which is definitely the big part. The last one was the Ice Golem and the use of the E-drag. The first one was also, again, using an E-drag. So just make sure that you are looking at chain value. If you're going to be using an E-drag, just remember, chain value is going to be your best friend, and you got to make sure that you know that. So that kind of moves us through this example, and we're going to be looking at one last example, hopefully to help you guys learn Pekka Bobat here at Town Hall 11. So that's right, guys, we are looking at this final example right here. So I want you guys to really understand what we are doing in this example. So for one, what we are doing is we are seeing, or what we're going to be seeing here is going to be a bat bomb. So a bat bomb is something a little bit different. You're going to, of course, be dropping the bats on the multi-inferno with the freeze spell, but the reason is because we're seeing one single, one multi. This is huge because you want to make sure that you are identifying the right base for it, which means that what we're going to be doing is we're not going to use the wall wrecker and going right over to the town hall with, going through the multi-inferno. We're actually going to take the eagle as a bigger priority. Now, this shows that we can kind of use this without the use of the Warden, but it is still necessary to kind of have it. It's really nice to have, but you'll see from here is that we are going to be using the Warden, or using the Pekkas and bowlers to get through this entire section and hopefully get down the eagle and the 2 wizard towers. That's huge value that we can get from the base, and that's going to allow us to really sort of clear something up from the base for us to use our bats. Very, very simple. Now, our wall wrecker is going to pop around here, so it is a good idea to kind of see what entirely goes on here in this case. So now we'll go ahead and play this for you guys just to kind of continue to talk about the strategy while you guys can still hear this strategy going through. So what you guys want to try and make sure that you're doing is, again, make sure that you are creating the funnel on both sides. This is going to really establish yourself to enter into the base with that wall wrecker and going right towards the town hall. So you want to make sure that you are really trying to create that funnel. So you'll see from here is that this is what we're trying to do, and we successfully were able to do that. Now, as we're driving everything in, we're going to deal with the damage CC like you see right here. It's a damage CC, of course, so this is pretty easy to deal with. Not too bad, as long as we have the queen going in. Now, of course, we are going to be a little bit late on our warden, but you'll see from here is that even without it, we're still able to get a little bit deeper into the base, even though it may not be to the eagle. But this is still a good example for those of you who are having trouble with getting that wall wrecker to pop a little bit later in the base. So in this example, we're making sure that we can get everything through, even if that means that, you know, we're not going to be able, we're going to have to use the warden ability without having the wall wrecker. So that's definitely something that you got to think about. But other than that, you can get a lot of value from doing this, a bat bomb. And the bat bomb is very simple. You can see that we have the ice golem tanking, and we also have the bats going in on top of that multi-inferno. And you'll see how easy it just goes down, starts spreading through. They'll also go ahead and go over to the wizard tower and take that out. Really, really simple stuff, and it really gives you guys a solid idea into using this attack, making sure that we're able to get the most out of this entire thing and allow ourselves to, or allow our bats to basically go through the entire base. And this is still a very simple example of using the bat bomb in this case. And we're able to clear a large majority. Now, of course, here you can see we have Expo still up. We have a wizard tower still up, but we're still going to be able to get the 3-star, even though no attack is perfect here. But you guys can still get and learn a lot from this example. Even though we weren't able to get the bats to clear the rest of the base, the bat bomb took care of a large chunk of the defenses that were on the back end, and that would have allowed us to get the triple, which is definitely something that you want to really try and look for. Other than that, though, that should help you guys a little bit more. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you guys don't miss anything. Another thing, feel free to go ahead and join any of the clans I'm covering. All their Discord server links are in the description. And feel free to go ahead and follow me on Instagram or Twitter. And also, if you guys want to check me out when I'm streaming, feel free to follow me over on Twitch and Trovo. Those are going to be the 2 spots that I'm streaming at. Other than that, though, don't forget to subscribe and share with your clanmates. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.